Peace and blessings, beautiful people. Peace and blessings. This is Goddess Imani, and welcome to this episode of Sacred Love Lessons. Freedom is our birthright. And in this episode, we're going to tap into the freedom frequency, where we learn how to clear our energy blocks and align with higher frequencies. The frequency of freedom resonates with vibrations that promote expansion, liberation, and alignment with our higher self. Some key frequencies associated with freedom include 432 Hertz, that's universal flow and inner freedom, 528 Hertz, that's transformation and liberation, 639 Hertz, freedom through connection, 741 Hertz, breaking free and expanding awareness, 852 Hertz, spiritual awakening and inner liberation, and 963 Hertz, divine connection and infinite expansion. Today, we're focused on 741 Hertz, breaking free and expanding awareness. 741 Hertz help us to break free from negative patterns, toxic influences, and limiting societal conditioning. Sometimes, old energies hold us back from shifting into our highest vibration. Today, we'll learn how to clear these blocks and free ourselves. So to shift into higher frequencies and free ourselves from limitations, we must first identify, clear, and replace what's keeping us stuck or stagnant. The first step to align our frequency and reclaim our full vibrational power is to identify the blocks by frequency testing. Blocks may show up as repeating patterns, limiting beliefs, and emotional heaviness. Have you ever just felt like you were in a loop? You feel like maybe you're stuck in a loop, or maybe you feel like you're on a hamster wheel, or maybe you feel like, okay, I've been here before. This is a deja vu moment, and not in a good way. I've heard people say, like, I've asked people, how are you doing today? Or how are you doing? And they may say, life is lifing, but not in a good way. So when I hear language like that, that tells me that the person is in a loop, an energetic frequency loop, and they can't seem to figure how to break away from that, how to spiritual hop into another frequency. So today I'm going to share some things that you can do to spiritual hop into another frequency. First of all, what is frequency testing? Frequency testing is the first step to transformation. It is a self-awareness tool to assess your current vibration. Are you in fear, joy, resentment, peace, anger, etc.? It is that point of where you say, where am I? Before we always ask, who am I? So in this instance, you're going to ask yourself, where am I? Frequency testing is a way to discern resonance. Whether a thought, person, space, decision, or belief aligns with your soul's frequency. Okay? So it is where you ask yourself, what is this? Does this align with who I am, where I am, and what I really want for my reality, my experience, and for my life? Frequency testing is a check-in ritual to determine if you're in coherence. What does my heart say? What does my mind say? What does my body, my soul say? So it is about heart, mind, body, soul alignment. Or if that is not where you are, if you're incoherent, it's about, is there a dissonance that needs to be addressed? The place where you may be out of alignment, right? The daily frequency testing practice, number 1. The first thing you want to do is pause and center. Close your eyes. If you can, close your eyes. And if you can, it's okay. Breathe deeply. Take a deep breath. Then feel your energy. What does that feel like for you? Feel that. Sit in that for a moment. Number 2, ask yourself, what frequency am I operating from right now? What frequency am I operating from right now? Then let your body, intuition, and higher self give you feedback. More questions to ponder. What limiting beliefs am I holding onto? What limiting beliefs am I holding onto? Are you having thoughts of unworthiness? Are you telling yourself that you're not worthy? Or are you telling yourself that you can't have what you desire? What story are you telling yourself? Next question. What past wounds or traumas need healing? What past wounds or traumas need healing? If you're still talking about things that happened in the past, no matter how far back you may perceive them to be, that is a point of contention. That is a place where you need more light, where you need more healing. And a lot of times, most times, you have to go into the darkness, right? You have to look into the trauma. You have to look into the wound. You have to look into this place of contention in order to bring forth the light, in order to bring forth the healing that you desire. It's not something you would do over and over again, because once you're healed, right? If you're still talking about a hang up, something from the past, this and that, if it is a place of trigger for you, someone says something, does something, and it triggers you, that is something that is coming to the surface for you to heal. Next question. Where do I feel resistance in my life? Where do I feel resistance in my life? You guys, oh my God, my life is lifing in a good way, okay? Now, there are moments when I feel like the weight of life is somewhat heavy because I can't control most of what goes on into my life, right? I would say 99% of what goes on in the world, I have no control over. I accept that. The 1% that I have control over is control over my frequency, my vibration, the energy that I bring to the table, my response to life, my perception of life, how I feel. I have control over that. My thoughts, I have control over that. Even if a random thought comes into your mind, right? I have control whether or not I'm going to sit in that energy or I'm going to cut it off and put something else, replace it with something else. So the 1% that I have control over, that is the 1% that I say, where do I feel resistance in my life? Then number 3, discern. Is this frequency serving me? Is this frequency serving me? That's the question you want to ask yourself. Is the frequency that you're currently in right now, is it serving you? It may or may not be, okay? Or the frequency may be serving you, but you might need a little tweaking, right? And we call that frequency editing. Frequency editing, where you just tweak it. You're on the right frequency, but maybe, you know how on your radio, you might have, like in Dallas, we have 104.5. That's like the R&B station, one of the R&B stations here. And maybe you want to go up to 0.7 or 0.9, or maybe right now you're at 104.1, but you want to get to 0.5. We call it frequency editing, where you just tune your frequency just a little bit to make the station even more clear, right? And you do that through your discernment. That's something that you can do. You do have control over that. That is where you use your discernment. So once you determine, right, we've identified where the blocks are. We've identified that maybe we need to edit our frequency just a little bit. Now it's time to clear. So the next thing you want to do is clear low vibrations and frequency blocks. So the first type of clearing is emotional clearing. And in this clearing, this is where we do our inner child work. You want to confront and heal those parts of you that are still holding on to the past. We talked about that. You want to confront and heal those parts of you that are still holding on to the past. And when I say holding on to the past, I mean where you have a negative perception of your past. Let's say you had a horrible, the most unthinkable, horrible, worst childhood ever. Let's say that was you, right? If you're still sitting in that energy where you say it was the most horrible ever, then you still have work to do. You still have work to do. Okay. Now it can be that, and something else can be true. For example, you can say, yes, my childhood was abusive. However, I realized that my parents or whoever, your caregivers, did the best they could do. They may have been lost, unawakened, dysfunctional themselves, vibing on a low vibrational frequency, but they did the best that they can do. When you start hearing things like that, you know you have elevated your frequency. But if you're still sitting in poor me and you're trying to go to pity parties, those are parties I don't go to. But if you're going to pity parties and you're sitting in that energy, you have inner child work to do. The next thing that you can do to clear the blocks and readjust your frequency is journaling. This is one of my favorite things to do, because through journaling, you can create your reality. It is called scripting. It works. I know it works. I use this in my life. Whatever I write down, it comes to pass. So you can write down what you need to release, and then you can symbolically burn or tear the paper. Now, for me, I've done this in the past where I've written letters. Most times I don't send these letters out. There's been a few where I've actually sent it to the person because I really wanted the person to know my heart and know how I felt and knew where I was. So I sent that out, but you don't have to do that. And I really recommend that. Maybe you shouldn't, depend on the nature of the relationship. But sometimes the other person needs to know, because you're sharing your love and your light, and they need to know that. Write it down. Whatever you need to write down. If it needs to be a letter of forgiveness to yourself, to someone else. If it needs to be releasing, blessing and releasing someone else. If the person is no longer in this dimension, you still can do this process, because it's all just energy. It's all spiritual. It's all energy. At the root of all life is spiritual energy. You can write it down and you can release it. You can burn it. You can tear it up. However you want to do it. But journaling is an amazing way to clear energy blocks and to edit your frequency. Another thing that you can do is cry and express your emotions. It is okay to feel whatever you feel. I used to have such an issue with anger. Thank God, praise report, I don't have that issue anymore. But in the past, I did. I used to be very angry. Even if I had a smile on my face, underneath the smile was anger. And what I learned after I talked to my spiritual mother and I spent some time with her, and I began to learn about emotions. What are emotions? What they are? Emotions are energy. They're like small little packets of energy. That energy carries a certain level of frequency. And so emotions can fuel your thoughts. They can fuel your intentions. They can cause you to go into action or to resist action, right? So it's very important to express those emotions in a healthy way, to allow yourself to feel. Because once you go through that process and you learn how to feel the energy, to embrace the frequency, then you master that emotion. You master the frequency instead of suppressing them. When you suppress your emotions, oftentimes that energy gets stuck within your physical body. It comes out in different ways. It can manifest as a sickness, an illness, some kind of disease within the body. The physical body. If it doesn't manifest in your physical body, it can manifest in your mental body. It can manifest in your emotional body. It can also manifest in your spiritual body. So you want to allow yourself to feel it. Now, when I say allow yourself to feel it, like let's say you're sad. Okay, let's say you're sad. If you are feeling sad today, that is okay. You are having a human experience, okay? We are spiritual beings living in a physical human body, having a human experience on this planet, okay, that we call Earth. This is a school where we learn lessons. This planet we call Earth. It is okay for you to feel however you feel. However, I would highly invite you that once you felt it, it's been enough time, because me, I'm not going to sit in sadness long. If I'm sad, I'm be like, okay, I feel you. I'm aware. That's called frequency awareness. I'm aware of how I feel. I feel sad in this moment. Now that I understand where I am. I have an awareness of where I am. Let's see what we can do to elevate that frequency, because I'm not just going to sit in sadness. And so once you have the awareness, you tested your energy, then you can edit your frequency editing, and then you can adjust it and move. Okay, so that's when you come into the spiritual hop. So the next thing that you want to do to clear low vibrations is now we're going to go into energetic clearing. The first one was emotional clearing. The second one is energetic clearing. So in this section, there are things that you can do to clear your energy. Some things, they help like instantaneously. For example, breath work. Breath work will release stagnant energy and reprogram your nervous system. If you ever notice, like say you get angry or you're afraid, if you can just breathe through it. Or if you're in pain, physical pain, if you take a deep breath, there's something that happens within the void, in between frequencies. There's something that happens that where your mind begins to align with your heart and your soul and your spirit. It all comes into alignment. And in that moment, while you're taking deep breaths and you're just breathing, it is like pouring medicine into your body and just soothing your nervous system. When you soothe your nervous system, you can calm down. You get clarity. You can think better. Have you ever noticed that when you're just real angry, you can't think clearly? If you're impulsive and you go do something stupid, then when the anger subsides, you're no longer on the frequency of anger. Then you realize, oh man, I did something stupid. I shouldn't have done that. And that one moment of temporary frequency caused a permanent result and consequence in your life. There's a lot of people that are in prison right now that had that experience. So, breath work. Take a deep breath. Just pause and center yourself. The next thing that you can do to clear energetic frequencies is sound healing. Listen to high frequency music, singing bowls, chants, mantras, whatever you need to do. Sound. It has been scientifically proven that sound can affect your frequency. The next thing is energy healing. Now this is where Reiki, in case you've never heard about Reiki, just Google it, Reiki. That's about energy clearing over your body. You can clear yourself, or you can have someone else to do that for you. EFT tapping, that's where you tap along your meridian lines within your body, within your chakras. Tapping shakes up that energy that's in those spots. It's a way to move trapped energy out of your system. Okay, the next thing is water and nature immersion. This is one of my favorite things to do. I have mostly water in my astrological chart. So when I am near water, I thrive best. When I am near water, no matter what kind of water it is, right? When I drink more water, I thrive best. Also, nature. Nature is an instantaneous way to elevate your frequency, to spiritual hop into another frequency. Water and nature naturally cleanse and realign your energy. That's why they always tell you to go outside, get a little sun. You know, we all know that the sun activates our vitamin D within our body. Also, being near water, even in the rain, that will help to change and shift your energy. Being close to trees, walking on grass, putting your feet on the grass, on the ground. When I say ground, I mean in the dirt, on the sand if you're at the beach. Okay, so now we have tested our frequency. We are aware, we understand, we have cleared energy and frequency blocks. So the next thing is to replace and rewire with higher vibrational frequencies. Higher vibrational frequencies. So the first thing you want to do in this area is you want to reframe your thoughts. Shift from I am stuck to I am expanding into new possibilities. This is a spiritual frequency hop. This is how you do it. You go from I am stuck to I am expanding into new possibilities. Now, this is just one example. It can be whatever you want it to be, because only you know how you're feeling. Only you know what frequency you're on right now. And only you know what is possible for you. Only you know where you want to go. So it is up to you to tune your frequency in order for you to make a spiritual frequency hop. The next thing is affirmations and visualization. Speaking to yourself already free, abundant, and thriving. You guys know I am from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, DF-Dub. And here in the DF-Dub area, we say already. That is one way you know someone is from this area, because when you're having a conversation and you say something, especially if you're on the fence about something, let's say you say, I hope I get this job. Let's say you say that. That's one example. The person you're talking to, if they're from the DF-Dub area, you know what they're going to say? Already. Because we live in the law of assumption. It is already done. The next thing you want to do is surround yourself with high-vibing people and environments. Your surroundings influence your vibration. So you might need to tweak. This is one way you can frequency edit, so you can make the spiritual frequency hop. But you might need to tweak where you are, your environment, what you see. Is it cluttered? Does it need to be cleaned? Do you need to release some people? Or maybe just not even release people. Maybe I just won't spend as much time with this person because I need to be around people who are high vibing. So maybe that's it, right? And then ultimately, you want to learn the lesson. If you find yourself around low vibing people, because I know some people go to the office, they work, you're in a place where there's other people. If that's you, and you find yourself around low vibing people, situations, or environments, you still can transmute the frequency for your highest good. Okay, first understand, we are all mirrors to each other. And we reflect both the healed and unhealed parts of ourselves. So if you are dealing with somebody who's getting on your nerve, what they're doing is they're being a mirror to you of an unhealed part, either unhealed or healed version of yourself. Now, if you're healed, the healed part of you is going to move away from that person because you're going to be vibing on a different frequency. And one way that you can tell whether or not you're vibing on a different frequency is by what you say, what comes out your mouth, because you guys are going to be speaking different things. Also, you will not be able to hear the other person. There'll just be like this constant argument, this constant misunderstanding, miscommunication. You will not be vibing on the same frequency. And you're going to do one or two things. Either you're going to adjust your frequency and get on their level, or they're going to have to adjust their frequency and get on your level, or you'll just fade away. Again, go back to our radio example where when you're tuning and you're close to the radio station that you want to listen to, you can probably hear it a little bit, but it's got a lot of static in it. And then when you get on the exact frequency, everything is just boom, clear. You can hear the music clear. You can hear the voices very clear. There's just clarity all around. So that's one way to know if you're vibing on the same frequency with someone else. Do you guys have clarity? Is there coherence? Is there togetherness? Is there unity? And I'm not talking about where you're compromising and you're losing yourself. I'm talking about you're being your authentic self. You're being their authentic self. And there's unity and ease in the situation. There's a lesson, new information, or a confirmation in every interaction or experience we have. The next thing you want to do is strengthen your frequency boundaries. Say no to draining people or situations. Tie off energetic cords with past relationships or experiences that will weigh on you. And then protect your energy daily with visualization. Imagine a golden white light shielding you. And that was something I learned from my spiritual mother. Divine white light protects me and all that is mine. Divine white light protects me and all that is mine. And then finally, once you've done all of that, okay, you've identified the frequency blocks, cleared the frequency blocks, you've realigned with the frequency. Now it's time to take a spiritual frequency hop and step into your higher timeline. So that's where we are. You want to step into your higher timeline. You are always one spiritual frequency hop away from a new reality. Small aligned shifts signal to the universe that you're stepping into your power. By consistently raising your vibration and releasing what no longer serves you, you naturally align with a higher timeline. One where freedom, abundance, and joy are your natural states. I have some affirmations for you, and this will help you to anchor your freedom frequency. I release all that no longer serves me and makes space for my highest good. I am free from past limitations and open to infinite possibilities. My energy is clear, powerful, and aligned with love. I trust the divine flow of life and embrace my highest path. I release all that no longer serves me and make space for my highest good. I am free from past limitations and open to infinite possibilities. My energy is clear, powerful, and aligned with love. I trust the divine flow of life and embrace my highest path. So, what's one block you're ready to clear today? One thing that you can do to clear blocks and spiritually hop into a higher frequency is to commit to one clearing practice this week and notice how your energy shifts. I'll leave you with this final thought. Freedom isn't just about letting go. It's about reclaiming your power and choosing a new reality. Freedom is your birthright. Every time you shift your thoughts, emotions, and energy to a higher frequency, you align with a life that reflects your true essence. The only thing that keeps you bound is the heavy energy you continue to carry. The moment you decide to release it, you open the door to infinite expansion, joy, and abundance. So take a deep breath. Let go and spiritually hop into a different frequency. Your highest timeline is waiting. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you for listening to this episode of Sacred Love Lessons. I am the universe. Now what? Wherever you're tuning in the world, like, comment, and subscribe. And until we speak again, be the light.